Does your fluffy overlord stare at their full water bowl like it personally offended their ancestors? Or maybe they insist on screaming at you in the bathroom at 3 a.m. until you turn on the sink faucet just a tiny drip. You probably just sigh, take a picture for Instagram, and think, wow, my cat is wonderfully broken. But what if I told you that this quirky, hilarious behaviour might actually be a desperate cry for help? Think about it. Do you think your cat does these weird things just to annoy you? Or is there a hidden biological secret behind their madness? Today, we are exposing the ultimate silent thief in the feline world, chronic kidney disease. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will look at your cat's litter box and water bowl in a completely different way, and it might just save their life. Before we dive into the secret signs and life-saving hacks, drop down to the comments right now and tell me, what is the absolute weirdest place your cat insists on drinking water from? Sink? Your water glass? The toilet? Let me know, and let's get into it. To truly understand why our cats are so incredibly weird about water and why their kidneys are their ultimate Achilles heel, we need to take a quick trip back in time. Your luxurious, pampered house panther, who currently sleeps 16 hours a day on your clean laundry, is actually a descendant of fierce desert-dwelling wildcats. In those dry, harsh environments, water bowls didn't exist. Mother Nature designed these apex predators to get almost all the moisture they needed directly from the blood and tissue of their prey. A juicy mouse was basically a furry little water bottle. Because of this, domestic cats have an incredibly low natural thirst drive. They literally don't feel thirsty until they are dangerously dehydrated. Add to this the fact that cats are solitary hunters in the wild. Showing weakness or illness means becoming someone else's dinner. So they have evolved to be absolute masters of disguise, hiding their pain with Oscar-winning performances. When your cat's kidneys start to struggle, they won't complain. They will just silently adapt until the damage is severe. That's why we, as their devoted human servants, have to be detectives. Let's kick things off with the ultimate feline paradox, the dry food addiction. We love dry kibble, don't we? It's cheap, it doesn't smell like fish at 7 a.m, and it sits in the bowl perfectly all day. But here is the shocking truth. Feeding your cat an exclusively dry food diet is like feeding them salted crackers with absolutely nothing to drink. Kibble contains only about 10% moisture, whereas a cat's natural prey, like a mouse or a bird, is made up of about 70 to 80% water. Because your cat has that famously low desert creature thirst drive we just talked about, they simply will not drink enough water from a bowl to compensate for the extreme dryness of the kibble. This means their tiny, delicate, bean-shaped kidneys are constantly working overtime in a state of mild chronic dehydration. Over the years, this constant strain slowly destroys the kidney tissue. I know transitioning a kibble-addicted cat to wet food is like trying to convince a toddler to eat broccoli instead of candy, but adding high-quality, moisture-rich canned food to their daily routine is literally the #1 most effective way to protect those precious kidneys before it's too late. Now let's talk about interior design, specifically where you place your cat's dining area. Most of us naturally put the water bowl right next to the food bowl. It makes sense to humans, right? A burger and a soda go together. But your cat looks at that setup with absolute disgust. Why? Because in the wild, if a predator makes a kill, the contents of the prey's stomach and blood can easily contaminate any nearby water sources. Your cat's ancient DNA is screaming at them. Do not drink the water next to the dead food. It is poisoned. This is exactly why you might find your kitty tipping over their water bowl, ignoring it completely, or sneaking a sip from your bedside glass instead. Furthermore, if you are using a deep, narrow bowl, their highly sensitive whiskers will constantly brush against the sides, causing a highly uncomfortable condition known as whisker fatigue. To save their kidneys, you need to trick their instincts. Separate the food and water stations completely. Put wide, shallow bowls in different rooms. Create a water safari around your house and watch how much more they suddenly decide to drink. Moving on to everyone's favourite 3 a.m. activity, the bathroom sink obsession. If your cat relentlessly begs you to turn on the faucet, or if they love to stare completely mesmerised at a flushing toilet, they aren't just being weird little aliens. In nature, standing stagnant water is a breeding ground for deadly bacteria, parasites and disease. Running water, like a stream or a river, is oxygenated, clean and safe to drink. Your cat knows this instinctively. When they see water sitting in a bowl for 2 days, they view it as a toxic swamp. If you want to proactively protect your cat's kidney function, you must invest in a high-quality pet water fountain. The continuous sound of trickling water not only triggers their natural hunting and survival instincts, making the water irresistible, but the built-in filters keep it tasting fresh. Yes, you will have to clean the fountain. And yes, they might splash water on your floor like a toddler in a puddle. But seeing them happily lap up fresh, running water is worth every penny and every paper towel. It's a literal lifesaver disguised as a fun new toy. Let's get a little gross for a minute and talk about the litter box. I know, scooping the box is the worst part of being a cat parent, but it is actually your most powerful diagnostic tool. You are the litter box detective. A healthy cat typically produces pee clumps that are roughly the size of a golf ball or a small lemon. However, one of the very first, most glaring warning signs of feline chronic kidney disease is a massive, sudden increase in urine volume. When the kidneys start to fail, they lose their ability to concentrate the urine. This means the body is just flushing water straight through the system. If you suddenly start scooping clumps that are the size of softballs, or if the litter box is entirely flooded and you're buying cat litter twice as often, do not ignore it. Many people mistakenly think, wow, my cat is drinking and peeing so much. Their kidneys must be super healthy and flushing out toxins perfectly. No. It is the exact opposite. Massive pee clumps mean the kidneys are broken and leaking water. If you see the softball-sized clumps, it's time to call the vet immediately. Another massive red flag is the incredible shrinking cat. We all love a slightly chunky, squishy cat, but as our cats enter their senior years, we often notice them getting a bit thinner. It's easy to brush this off saying, "Oh, old Fluffy is just losing her baby fat because she sleeps all day." But sudden or gradual weight loss is a screaming alarm bell for kidney disease. Here is how you do the spine check at home. When you stroke your cat down their back, it should feel like petting the back of your own hand, smooth with a bit of padding. If their spine suddenly feels incredibly bony, like the knuckles on a closed fist, they are losing dangerous amounts of muscle mass. Failing kidneys cause a buildup of toxins in the blood, which makes the cat feel constantly nauseous and sick to their stomach. Naturally, a nauseous cat stops eating as much, leading to rapid weight and muscle loss. If your majestic house lion is suddenly feeling frail and bony, don't wait to see if their appetite comes back magically. That weight loss is a critical symptom of renal distress. Let's talk about the vomit comet. Every cat owner has experienced the joy of stepping barefoot into a cold puddle of cat vomit in the middle of the night. It's practically a rite of passage. Usually we just sigh, mumble some curses, and blame it on a hairball or eating too fast. But it is absolutely crucial to know the difference between a standard hairball and renal vomiting. When a cat has kidney disease, those tiny organs fail to filter out waste products like blood urea nitrogen. These toxins literally build up in the bloodstream, travelling to the stomach and causing excess stomach acid and profound nausea. If your cat is frequently throwing up clear liquid, white foam or undigested food without any hair in it, this is not normal cat stuff. This is their body desperately trying to cope with being slowly poisoned from the inside by their own unfiltered waste. Frequent vomiting leads to even more severe dehydration, creating a devastating, deadly loop for the kidneys. If the puking becomes a weekly or daily routine, you need to rush them to the vet, not just buy a stronger carpet cleaner. How do you tell the difference between a wonderfully lazy cat and a dangerously lethargic cat? Cats are Olympic gold medalists in sleeping, racking up 16 to 18 hours of snooze time a day is perfectly normal. Because they sleep so much, identifying lethargy can be incredibly tricky for even the most attentive cat parents. The secret lies in their engagement when they are actually awake. A healthy cat might sleep all day, but when they hear the sacred pop of a wet food can, or when you pull out the laser pointer, they instantly transform into a ferocious, high-energy predator. A cat suffering from advanced kidney disease will lose that spark. They might hide under the bed for 12 hours straight, faceplant into the corner of the sofa, or stare blankly at their favourite toy without making a move. They look unkempt, exhausted, and completely disinterested in life. This isn't them just getting older and slowing down. This is profound weakness caused by anemia and toxic blood buildup resulting from failing kidneys. Don't let them suffer in silence. Pay close attention to their waking hours. Have you ever leaned in for a sweet, affectionate kitty kiss and been blasted by breath that could peel the paint off the walls? Yes, tuna breath is completely normal and expected, but we need to talk about ammonia breath. As kidney disease progresses to the later stages, the organs can no longer excrete urea through the urine. So, the body tries to eliminate this toxic waste through other pathways, including the saliva and the lungs. This results in a highly distinct, foul odour coming from their mouth that smells exactly like urine, bleach, or strong ammonia. It is shockingly pungent. Worse still, these high levels of uremic toxins in the saliva actually burn the sensitive tissues inside their mouth, leading to incredibly painful uremic ulcers on their tongue and gums. Imagine trying to eat dry, crunchy kibble with a mouthful of painful sores. No wonder they stop eating. If your cat's breath suddenly changes from mild fishy to a harsh, chemical, urine-like smell, and they start dropping food from their mouth while chewing, their kidneys are screaming for immediate medical intervention. Let's discuss their fabulous fur coats. Cats are meticulous, borderline obsessive neat freaks. A healthy cat will dedicate up to 30% of their waking hours to grooming every single inch of their body, ensuring their coat is sleek, shiny, and completely free of matting. But a sick cat is a dirty cat. When kidney disease makes them feel weak, dehydrated, and constantly nauseous, grooming is the very first activity they abandon. It just takes too much energy. If your once majestic, glossy panther suddenly develops a dull, spiky, greasy-looking coat, or if you notice severe dandruff flaking along their lower back near the tail, this is a massive warning sign. You might also notice them getting large, painful mats of fur, especially if they are long-haired, because they simply refuse to twist and bend to clean themselves anymore. This lack of self-care is a profound indicator of how terrible they feel on the inside. You might think they just need a bath or a good brushing, but what they really need is a full blood panel to check their renal function immediately. Did you know that ignoring your cat's teeth can literally destroy their kidneys? It sounds crazy, but dental health and kidney health are deeply, intimately connected. Statistics show that up to 70% of cats develop some form of periodontal or dental disease by the time they are just 3 years old. When a cat has severe tartar buildup, gingivitis, and bleeding gums, their mouth becomes a massive breeding ground for aggressive, nasty bacteria. Every single time they chew their food, these bacteria are pushed directly into the bleeding gums and straight into the bloodstream. The heart then pumps this bacteria-laden blood directly to the kidneys for filtering. Over months and years, this constant bombardment of oral bacteria causes chronic inflammation and micro-infections within the delicate kidney tissues, physically scarring and destroying the organs. I know trying to brush a cat's teeth feels like wrestling a tiny, angry alligator, but getting regular veterinary dental cleanings and using dental water additives can profoundly reduce the bacterial load on their kidneys, extending their life by years. We need to have a very serious talk about your houseplants. You might think your home is a safe haven, but you could accidentally be harbouring a deadly feline assassin right on your kitchen table. I am talking about lilies. True lilies, including stargazer, Easter and tiger lilies, are so unfathomably toxic to cats that just a tiny exposure can cause fatal acute kidney failure within 24 to 72 hours. And I don't just mean eating the leaves. If a cat simply brushes up against the flower, gets a tiny dusting of yellow pollen on their fur, and licks it off while grooming, or even just takes a sip of the water from the vase, their kidneys will shut down completely. It is incredibly tragic how many cats lose their lives around Valentine's Day or Easter because well-meaning owners bought a beautiful bouquet. Acute kidney failure from toxins is swift and devastating, and unlike chronic kidney disease, it happens overnight. Before you bring any plant or flower into your home, you must check the ASPCA toxic plant list. Your aesthetic decor is never worth your cat's life. Aside from plants, there are human foods and household items that act as literal poison to feline kidneys. We all love sharing a snack with our pets, but cats process toxins very differently than dogs or humans. Grapes and raisins, for example, are highly toxic to cats and dogs and can cause rapid, acute renal failure. Never let your cat play with a stray grape on the floor. Another massive household danger is antifreeze, which contains ethylene glycol. It has a surprisingly sweet taste that attracts animals, but even a few drops licked from a garage floor will crystallize inside the cat's kidneys, destroying them irreparably in hours. Additionally, common over-the-counter human painkillers, particularly NSAIDs like ibuprofen or aspirin, are incredibly deadly to cats. One drop pill on the floor can be a death sentence. Their livers cannot metabolize these drugs, causing the toxic load to crush the kidneys. Keep all medications securely locked away. Sweep your floors for drop pills, and never ever attempt to treat your cat's pain with human medicine without explicit veterinary orders. So how do we actually catch this silent killer before it destroys 75% of the kidney function? The answer is the dreaded veterinary visit. I know stuffing a terrified cat into a plastic carrier feels like a betrayal of their trust, and driving with a screaming feline in the back seat is stressful, but annual wellness exams are non-negotiable. For cats over the age of 7, you must insist on a full geriatric blood panel and urinalysis every single year. Traditionally, vets looked at BUN and creatinine levels to diagnose kidney disease, but by the time those numbers spike, the cat has already lost 3/4 of their kidney function. Thankfully, modern veterinary medicine has a miracle test called SDMA. The SDMA biomarker can detect kidney function decline months or even years earlier than the old tests, sometimes when there is only 25% damage. Catching it at stage 1 or stage 2, before your cat even shows a single outward symptom, gives you the power to completely halt the progression of the disease through diet and minor lifestyle changes. Let's talk about hydration hacks, because getting a cat to drink water is basically a full-time psychological operation. If your cat refuses the fancy water fountain and ignores the extra bowls, you have to sneak water into their diet like a spy. One of the best tricks is to create cat soup. Take their normal portion of wet food and mix in a few tablespoons of warm, not hot water until it has a rich, gravy-like consistency. The warm water enhances the smell of the food, making it completely irresistible, and forces them to drink the water just to get to the meat. Another amazing hack is making tuna ice cubes. Take the water from a can of tuna, make sure it's tuna in spring water, absolutely no added salt or oil. Mix it with a bit of regular water and freeze it in an ice cube tray. Toss a tuna ice cube into their water bowl. As it slowly melts, it flavours the water, encouraging them to lap it up throughout the day. You can also buy unsalted, pet-safe bone broths. Ensure there are no onions or garlic in the ingredients to pour over their meals. If your vet drops the dreaded kidney disease diagnosis, the very first thing they will prescribe is a specialised renal diet. I will warn you right now, your cat is probably going to hate it at first. Prescription kidney diets are specifically formulated to be incredibly low in phosphorus and contain moderate amounts of highly digestible protein. Why? because damaged kidneys cannot filter out phosphorus properly. High phosphorus levels in the blood literally act like sandpaper, further scarring the kidney tissue and making the cat feel severely ill. The renal diet stops this cycle, but because it has less salt and protein, it isn't as intensely flavourful as junk food kibble. Transitioning them requires immense patience. Do not just swap the bowls overnight. Mix 10% of the new food with 90% of the old food and slowly adjust the ratio over 3 to 4 weeks. Warm the renal food in the microwave for 3 seconds to release the aromas. Be stubborn. Getting them to eat a renal diet can literally double their remaining lifespan compared to feeding standard grocery store cat food. Now, let's venture into the slightly intimidating world of advanced home care. Subcutaneous fluids. If your cat reaches stage 3 or 4 of chronic kidney disease, they simply cannot drink enough water to flush the toxins out of their body, no matter how much tuna soup you make them. This is when your vet will teach you how to administer fluids under the skin at home. I know the thought of poking your beloved furry baby with a needle sounds like an absolute nightmare, and most owners burst into tears at the thought of it. But I promise you it is so much easier than you think. Cats have incredibly loose skin around their shoulders, with very few nerve endings there. Most cats barely even notice the needle going in, especially if you distract them with a high-value treat like a lickable puree. Providing these fluids creates a little camel-like hump of hydration under their skin that the body slowly absorbs. Owners consistently report that after just a few days of fluid therapy, their lethargic, sick cat suddenly acts like a playful kitten again. It truly is magic. Beyond diet and hydration, managing kidney disease involves a few secret weapons from the pharmacy, supplements. While you must always consult your vet before adding anything to your cat's regimen, supplements can dramatically improve their quality of life. Omega-3 fatty acids, typically derived from high-quality fish oil, are incredible for kidney cats. They act as a powerful natural anti-inflammatory, slowing down the scarring process within the kidneys and supporting healthy blood flow. Your vet might also prescribe phosphate binders. If your incredibly stubborn cat absolutely refuses to eat the prescription kidney food and will only eat standard wet food, a phosphate binder powder can be mixed into their meals. This medication acts like a sponge in the stomach, binding to the dangerous dietary phosphorus and preventing it from entering the bloodstream. Lastly, potassium supplements are often needed, as failing kidneys tend to leak potassium into the urine, leading to extreme muscle weakness. With the right cocktail of supplements, you can manage their symptoms beautifully from the comfort of your own kitchen. We cannot ignore the massive impact that environmental stress has on a cat's urinary and renal health. Cats are absolute control freaks. They thrive on strict routines and a perfectly calm environment. When they experience chronic stress, whether from a new crying baby, an obnoxious new puppy, moving to a new apartment, or even just rearranging the living room furniture, it triggers a massive release of stress hormones like cortisol. This prolonged stress can actually cause severe inflammation in the bladder lining, a condition known as feline idiopathic cystitis. While this is primarily a bladder issue, the resulting pain, dehydration, and urinary blockages put sudden, massive strain on the kidneys. To protect their internal organs, you must protect their mental health. Provide plenty of vertical spaces like cat trees so they can escape chaos. Use synthetic pheromone diffusers plugged into the wall to naturally calm their nerves. Ensure they have multiple litter boxes in quiet, low-traffic areas. A happy, stress-free cat is biologically much more resilient to illness. I want to take a moment to talk directly to the cat parents watching this. Receiving a diagnosis of chronic kidney disease for your best friend is terrifying. It is entirely normal to feel overwhelmed, guilty, and heartbroken. You might think back to all the years you fed them cheap dry kibble and beat yourself up over it. Stop right there. Feline genetics, their desert ancestry, and simple old age play massive roles in this disease. You are doing the right thing by educating yourself now. Managing a chronically ill pet is a major commitment. There will be good days where they play like kittens, and bad days where they refuse to eat and you are crying on the kitchen floor trying to hand feed them. Give yourself some grace. Build a strong, communicative partnership with a veterinarian you trust. Join online support groups for parents of kidney cats. The community there is incredibly knowledgeable and supportive. You are not alone in this journey, and the extra time and love you give them now will forge an unbreakable bond between you two. Let's wrap up with the most important message of all: hope. A diagnosis of kidney disease is not an immediate death sentence. It is a manageable condition. With early detection through regular SDMA blood tests, immediate transition to a moisture-rich renal diet, clever hydration hacks, and a whole lot of love, cats can live comfortably for many, many years with compromised kidneys. We have seen cats diagnosed at stage 1 or 2 live completely happy, fulfilling lives for over 5 to 7 years. The key is vigilance. Don't ignore the giant pee clumps in the litter box. Don't brush off their obsession with the bathroom sink or their sudden weight loss. You are your cat's entire world, their protector, and their voice. By paying attention to these secret signs, you are giving them the greatest gift possible: a long, comfortable, and pain-free life by your side. They might think they are fiercely independent wild predators, but at the end of the day, they rely on you entirely, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. And there you have it, fellow cat parents. Now you know exactly what is going on inside that mysterious, fluffy head of theirs, and why those bizarre water and litter box habits are actually vital clues to their health. Kidney disease might be a silent thief, but you are now fully equipped to be the ultimate detective and protect your feline overlord. Despite all their 3 a.m. zoomies, their demanding screams for wet food, and their refusal to drink from a normal bowl, we absolutely adore these little creatures, and they deserve the longest, healthiest lives possible. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share this video with every cat lover you know. It could literally save a cat's life today. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what is the one weird thing your cat does that you now realise might be a secret sign? I read every single comment. Give your kitty a gentle chin scratch from me, and I'll see you in the next video.